Hello and welcome back to another episode of Let Loose with Moose. Today I have 0xJeff with me. Hello Jeff, how are you doing?
Hello, Moose. Yeah, doing great, man. Thanks for inviting me to be here.
Happy to have you on. So maybe we could start off with a little bit of your introduction and background of yourself. Could you share a little bit more about that?
Yep, absolutely. So, as you probably know, right, currently I'm a DeFi researcher, threader, focusing on research and writing content, DeFi content on Arbitrum mainly, right? And from time to time, I also share some degen picks that I got in and got out. Some profitable, some not profitable, but yeah, we degenning, right? So that's what I've been doing and also advising a couple of Web3 uh, new projects, right? That's planning on launching. That has been fun. But previously, before all of this, I was working with the Spartan Group as a senior analyst in the advisory front. So, as you all probably know, Spartan Group is a crypto venture capital, right? With a pretty large asset under management. Spartan Group is based in Asia, um, but there's not just crypto VCs vertical in the Spartan Group. There's also like crypto advisory and crypto venture builder, and I was lucky to be in the crypto advisory part, where you can think of it as like Goldman Sachs investment banks, but rather than traditional business, right? It's more focused on crypto businesses. So Spartan help like crypto businesses with fundraising, whether it be equity fundraising, token fundraising, or M&A as well. And they work with like large Web3 corporates across the industry. So I worked with Spartan for over a year. Just mainly, I'm not sure if the audience is familiar with investment banks, but it's basically just prepare working with the companies, the target companies that you want to help them to get funding, right? So you work with them from you know. Digging down into the business model and then crafting really nice stories or a narrative that you can sell it to investors or to attract investors in to invest in that project, right? So the process or the work is pretty similar to traditional investment banks, where if you are an analyst, your main role is to create all the PowerPoint deck or the teaser or the investor memorandum, where these are the core sort of materials for investor to take a look at, right, and really understand what is the business, what is the unique selling points, key differentiation, and what are the key metrics and traction and the future roadmap and team and all that good stuff, right, about the projects. So this is one, and there's also a part about doing financial modeling, like doing equity, doing discounted cash flow analysis, just like traditional investment banks, but less so, right? And doing token model and all the other analysis that goes with it. And yeah, managing data room, managing like reaching out to investors, pitching to some investors, and yeah, making sure that the process is closed and then the projects get their well needed funding. So that's the gist of it of what I did in the Spartan Group. But even before Spartan Group, I wasn't in crypto at all. I was in um, private equity and venture early stage venture capital in Bangkok, Thailand. I'm 100% Thai, by the way, born and raised in Thailand.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you so much for sharing, man. Like you literally just went on. I didn't have to prompt you at all. I was like preparing a few questions for asking about Spartan Group. Right. But could I just ask, like, did you have a background in finance? Like, did you know that you wanted to get into the private equity scenes from the beginning, or like how did you end up
Right. Yeah,
going
that's a
down this
great
path? Yeah.
one. So So rewind back to when I was really young, right? I think it was probably 7 or 8 years old. I was watching a TV show in Thailand. So at that time, we had a similar show to Shark Tank. Um,
Mm-hmm.
this show in Thai is called SME Feedback, in which they take several SMEs, businesses who want funding, who want, advice, like more advice, more strategic advice, right? So they come on this show. It was just like Shark Tank, where they have to pitch their business model, pitch their traction, pitch their, future roadmap of, where they want to take this. And there would be a panel of judges, right, breaking down the businesses and, seeing in the end whether the SME deserve the grants and also deserve the investment from these judges. So when I watched it, when I was 7 or 8 years old, I was blown away by how the entrepreneur on the stage was able to keep everything together and was able to eloquently explain like the things that they do, right? There's so many interesting businesses, so many and so many different sort of initiatives, ideas that they have brought to life. Um, and the judges was like very quick on their feet. They were able to tell like whether this business is gonna go, is gonna do well, or whether it's gonna fail. So at that moment, I was just like a 7 or 8 years old kid, right? I didn't know anything. So like my eyes were sparked and inspired by this show, particularly, and I really wanted to be the judge, judging the business, judging the entrepreneur, because it looks so cool. I want to, have that knowledge and know, like, have the well-rounded knowledge across different industries, right? And know what drives business, what, is the 80% that contributes to the success of the business. Um, and also, like, at the same time, I really wanted to be the entrepreneur as well, because they seem to create something, some value. They, bring in other peoples around them, their team, and then they help push everybody's up, right? Create jobs, create value, create products with value for customers. So I wanted to be both. That's why, after that show, I made a vow to myself that, whatever I do, I'll um, I'll create my own business someday. Not sure what it's going to be in the form of, but I want to do that, right? And so throughout my entire education background and then career, it's more focused on business, learning more about business, understanding more about business. When I got to college, I enrolled in BBA and I, chose several majors, right? In the end, I ended up choosing finance because it seems like, uh, financial, right? You learn about how all the specifics, numbers, attribute to what, really understanding, what is revenue, what is cost, balance sheet, and how, it shows like the financial strength of the business. Like you can gauge, you can analyze it, and yeah, so and at the time it seems like the most difficult sort of major out of all the major in BBA. Yeah, so I took that. And then when I graduated, I did a 3 month internship at a boutique investment banking house in Bangkok, Thailand as well. And yeah, in the end, I learned that I didn't really like investment banks because it's the guy in the middle, right? It's a middleman. Even though that guy bridge in and create value for both the sellers, like the business who want to raise fund, bridging that with the investors who really want to get more financial return, right? Or better strategic synergies in terms of business, right? Even though it's a guy bridging and creating value between two parties, like it just ends, right? It's project by project. You start working with the client, you did a financial PowerPoint, your IM, your teaser, your deck, and then you sort of run all this process, and then maybe like in 4 months to 6 months that finished, right? And then you move on to the next thing. You don't really get to see sort of the impact of your efforts so much as other fields. So I felt like, yeah, it wasn't really impactful for me. It could be for some other people, but not for me. So after that, I moved on. I really got lucky also. So at the time, I was young, and I didn't have a girlfriend, right? So I downloaded Tinder. This was when Tinder was so early. So there wasn't a lot of people using it, and I started playing with it. There was no Tinder Gold or Premium, whatever that we have right now. So I just started swiping when I was doing the internship as well. Yeah, because when I was doing there was like a very long time. This is another reason why I quit. There was another long period of time where there was a lot of projects, so I was really really bored. It was a boutique investment bank's house after all. So at the time I was trading forex, like trying just trading commodities and forex and then trying it out. And I was at the same time like swiping on Tinder, and I got really lucky that I matched with a girl who um, seemed pretty interesting. Like at the time, usually the majority of the people don't have anything on their bio because it was so new, right? People just wanted to try it out. But this particular girl, she seemed like she's fun. She seems like she put all the quirky and weird bio, um, and yeah, I didn't know that she was working at a recruitment agency before. But I got connected to close with her, and then befriended her entire recruitment agency because at times, right, I would be going across to her NJC, which is like luckily it was like pretty close to the office that I was at the time. It was like walking distance. Um, so yeah, and after sometimes, right, there was a job placement that came by for that recruitment agency, but that's for manager role of a private equity house. But then they were like sort of looking for a junior analyst and fresh grad as well, and I sort of fit that role perfectly. And then yeah, because I befriended the recruitment agency already, they sort of send my profile to that private equity house. And yeah, after about 3 or 4 rounds of interviews of talking to everybody on the team, I ended up getting the role, which is pretty lucky because I worked there for about 2.5 years, which I learned so many things from that place, from how to navigate and then manage, work around different stakeholders, right? Because at that private equity, we had to work with a very, traditional, very old kind of
Mhm.
institutions, like the LPs or the limited partners who provided the money are all like very old, traditional institutions in Thailand, like big banks. So I have to like those guys were the IC or the investment committee for us as well. So I learned a lot by watching the partners and the seniors, right, pitching to them and analyze all these different things that's necessary to sell the business and uh, basically convince them to put their money into the projects. So I learned how to sort of look at business in a way where like I could pick it apart and really understand like what drives it, right? What are the revenue drivers, the cost drivers that make this a success. So I learned this from there, um, which is all like very nice. But like the culture, it was like pretty tough as well. Like working
Mhm.
more than 12 to 14 hours a day at times, and like it was cool. It was like I guess better than investment banks because private equity is buy side job, so it's more investors job. We don't have to sort of listen to the client, right, and do everything. We sort of serve ourselves and only serve the limited partners or an investment committee. So which is very different from investment banks where you tend to have to do like majority of the things that the clients or the target companies ask. So yeah, I think overall it's better. But yeah, working culture in the end wasn't that good. Um, and yeah, but I learned a lot throughout the 2.5 years. And but towards the end, right, I really wanted to explore more early stage startups, more tech companies, right? Because private equity usually you just work with old people, frankly, like LPs, investment committee, and also the projects that you work with, and they are like SMEs, right? Usually
Mm-hmm.
SMEs traditional business are filled with old people, like 40, 50, sometimes 60, 70. Yeah. And yeah, I wanted to move on. So I was applying to different jobs, right? In the end, I got a really nice job at a early stage, like fund, a small fund. This fund was, driven by a co-founder of Lazada Thailand and also co-founder of Rapid Care, which is a really big insurtech company in Thailand. So the one of the co-founder has a side fund in which he uses it to invest in early stage projects in Thailand. So like it was
Mm-hmm.
made for him. Like there wasn't anybody else. So when I joined, I would be just working alongside him as his right hand man, executing early stage investments that he's interested in. And then the thesis of the place is pretty unique as well. I'll just share the name. It's called Alpha Founders. So at Alpha Founders, right, the thesis was pretty different than other VCs. Like they would invest in very, very early, like at seed stage or sometimes pre-seed. Um, and in Thailand's startup scene, right, um, there's a lot of good companies, like good startups with great products, but the teams do not have like an idea of how to, sell it to investors. Like team is great, but sometimes team is like traditional. They don't know how to pitch. Their website, kind of sucks. But like the core product, there are like communities behind there, actual people using it every day, and people love the actual product. So we try to find this kind of product, invest in it, and then really help push them to investors after we invest in. And that was the thesis. And the support that we provided is huge. Like at some of the projects, right, that I work with, I went in to invest. So I completed the deal, run the process. And then after investment, I would be sitting as a corporate development manager, trying to drive the projects, drive the actual day to day in terms of all the different metrics that they have to achieve, all the KPI, and then work with them, like in terms of what they have to focus on, right, in the present and in the future, and how it ties together um, to the narrative that they gotta pitch to investors. And I also help like become sort of just blend in, right, become the corp dev and also pitch to like a lot of investors as well, which was like a really good experience to work on my soft skill, and also work on the pitching skill, and just how to communicate in a way that's not all fluff, that's not all shit, but have something behind it. Yeah, I learned a lot from people. So, but that was only for like over a year, um, and that was in um, around 2021 and like to the middle of 2022. And that's where I started to discover crypto as well. This was the end of 2021, because I had to look at new site, right, like Texas, Tech in Asia. And at one point, like 50% of the page is filled with crypto news. It was just like pure crypto news, like Bitcoin go up, go down, eat, like updates about something. And at the time, I had no idea what's all this. I just know Bitcoin is like people coin it as digital gold, right? And people love Bitcoin and Ethereum. But at that point, I felt like I have to check it out. So I got in, and then there was like a hype behind Pancake Swap Auto Compounder or something at the time. And you're promised to get like 70%, 80% returns. um, and I put my money in there, and then throughout the next 2 or 3 weeks, it just crashed down, and I lost like 20-30% of my position there, but I tried it out, right? Didn't put a lot, and then I moved on. But that got me, a foot into the industry, and I
Mm-hmm.
sort of looked around and like try to understand what all these means. What is LPs? What is impermanent loss? What is the risk of investing in this? What is compounding? What are the yields of these? What's emissions? But at that point, I mean, I'm just tricked, not tricked, but I'm just hooked into the allure of making quick bucks also with the industry, right? That's why the next investment that I got right after was Time Wonderland. That was when, Frog Nation was,
Ah,
yeah,
the famous.
yeah. Daniel Sesta
Yeah.
was like the big cult leader at the time, right? So I bought Time Wonderland, and I was really struggling on how to convert it to memo, to wrap memo and stake it. But in the end, it got through, right? And then I put it there for a week. I put in $1,000, which was like pretty a lot of money at the time. And then in the next week, it from $1,000, it turned into $2,000.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh shit, it doubled in a week, and for every single day, right? Because it's staked. Like I could see the amount like going up, and I would be like calculating on my Excel sheet every day. Like, oh shit, it just goes up in value every day, both in terms of price and in terms of the actual amount. And the thesis was simple: the 3-3 gamification, like game theory. Like you just everybody just hold, right? Everybody keep on holding, and then we win together. And then everybody bought into it. And I bought into it. I was like, oh shit, so much hype, community, like huge community, right? Everybody's like, oh, just keep on staking, and I believed it. So I kept it there, right, for a week, and then I felt that I already doubled. I should put in more so I don't miss the train. So I put in even more money. I put in another 2,500, which was like huge for me at the time. So I put it in, and then for the next 3 weeks, I slowly saw it, bleed from like bleed around 20 or 30% of something. And at that point, like at some point, right, a month after or something, I had to cut loss and just like accept all of this and move on. And yeah, that time, that taught me a lot of lessons about 3-3 in general. But I was still really interested that, that taught me lesson in 3-3, and then that kept that my interest high when I discovered BE 3-3 model when Andre Cronje came back and introduced all of that. But anyhow, UST was popular at the time, and abracadabra meme spell. Like there was a UST degen box cauldron where
Mm-hmm.
they would leverage farm your UST. So from 20% APR APY, you would get around 130 or 140, and everybody was jumping to get in. Like you need to like wait on the screen for the whole day, or you set up a bot to get into the position. So like I really wanted to get in, right? I wanted that return. So I was like really waiting for it. And then opportunity comes, I got the funds in, I looped the entire thing. And then I put it there for about 2 months. Luckily, like they at the time they had to migrate it the fund, like they wormhole bridge was closing down or something. Like they changed the bridge between Terra and Ethereum. Um, so yeah, they we had to get the funds out, but yeah, in the end, we that avoided the sort of Terra crash that came about
Oh,
1.5
nice.
months after, right? But the thing is, I didn't stop there. I invested because I went in the Terra ecosystem projects already, and there was like Mars. There was like the three projects that was launching with Lockdrop, right? And like Lockdrop was cool. I really wanted to get in, and then the UI UX of Terra projects was top notch. It was very simple, very easy to use, and at the time compared to other projects in any other chains, I think Terra Terra ecosystem projects were the best in there in terms of user experience. So I really enjoy that, and I think it's a key part of making it easy for users to like really use the product or the project, right? So that's why I put a lot of that profits in Astroport and in Mars. and like I think the other one was kinetic money. Yeah, I put in three of these. I lock it for 12 months. So my USC is locked. Like about 50% of my USC is locked in these projects. So yeah, when Terra crash happened, it was just gone. Like it was just locked. I couldn't do anything with it other than like thinking about the thinking about the portion that was lost there. But yeah, and the other 50%, right? I got really emotional and I tried to make it back. I started shorting Luna, and then I got dead cat bounce, and I got liquidated on the way. And then afterwards, I used my fund to invest in a couple of other things. One of it being NFTs. Yeah, that was a great time to invest in NFTs. I had no idea how to flip it. I didn't know that there's a huge communities of insiders who are like KOLs, or even like whitelisters, who just try to get whitelist rate and then just dump it on the retail. So usually the price is not good for flipping after they launch the projects. After I didn't know that, I didn't know any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in and lost a lot of money flipping NFTs. And yeah, after that, just yeah, lost the entire portfolio in 2022, and I just stopped every single. I didn't want to touch crypto anymore. But in the end, right, I got an opportunity at the Spartan Group. I was degening so hard that I built sort of the foundation for the industry, right, and was able to get in. Yeah.
Nice. Maybe we could definitely go all day, man. If go around your every
Yeah. Sorry,
investment that you
sorry.
have.
That was just one question, but I was like taking probably 30 minutes to
Yeah, no
answer.
worries. Yeah, I mean, but it's really nice to hear your journey. Like how you started off. Actually, I was thinking about it. Like, it's pretty amazing that you were pretty interested in Shark Tank at like 8 years old. I don't
Hmm.
think. I don't even think I was exposed to it at that point, and I wouldn't be interested. I think even if I was exposed to it, so I think it's really cool, man. And you kind of mentioned the Tinder story of basically how you got your whole career started based on a Tinder
Yeah.
swipe, which
Oh, wait,
was
in the
yeah.
end, it didn't lead to anything though. We're good friends. But yeah, we didn't actually become boyfriend girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was actually talking to several guys at the
Mm-hmm.
time, like at the same time. Yeah. In the end, we didn't get together, and now I have an actual girlfriend that I have been in relationship with for like more than 3.5
Ah,
years already.
nice.
Yeah, almost four
Happy for you.
years, and yeah, pretty happy life. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a heck of a story, man. Imagine getting a whole career in finance and private equity based on the Tinder swipe. I think it's really crazy, man.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And of course, we know that you are no longer with Spartan, right? And you decided to go solo. You're a trader now. So maybe you could share a little bit more on why did you decide to go solo instead, and
Gotcha.
do what you're doing right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So the role that I was taking on as a Spartan Group, right, was more focused on advisory, like investment banks works that I just shared, right? Basic. I was I was basically the PowerPoint guy. I would be, trying to create like really nice looking slides and just trying to craft different narratives and try to pitch it in a way that's interesting, right? Which is pretty cool, pretty fun. But what I really wanted to do in the industry is to be deeper with the DeFi projects. The projects that we were working with at the time was more focused on like Web 2.5 or Web 3, but really big corporates, like big centralized exchange, big data analytics business, or like huge business, which is not DeFi native enough, I guess. I really wanted to be, in the industry, learning about the new DeFi innovation and learning more on that. Like initially, I had no idea about DeFi. I only know what a DEX is, and yeah, I had to try to build up my knowledge. And before leaving, about 1.5 or 2 months, right, I really like I was like really focusing on Twitter, trying to learn a lot of things, and I found out from talking to a couple of other VC friends and previously creators or writers as well, right? They said that you should try writing. Writing is a way for you to sort of frame your thoughts, and yeah, it will get your thoughts like structured and keep push things going. At the time I was a bit skeptical, and I was scared also to write. I don't have the best writing skills, right? Yeah, I don't know how to structure anything, so I had to start fresh. So at that time I had like 10 followers or something. I just started reading about something, and initially I started on Substack. Also I started writing first about personal experience of when I went to like sort of a Chinese New Year party. So my dad, on my dad's side, he has a girlfriend, right? And on his girlfriend's side, that's like very Chinese kind of family, Chinese background. So they hold a lot of Chinese sort of, yeah, the different Chinese days, right? They hold this kind of get together or something. So there was a like a Chinese New Year. Went in to join their like barbecue parties and all that. So many people, and I talked to like a few uncles, who were like successful uncles. Like one of them was like a CEO for a very big company. I talked to him, and we were like arguing about the future of crypto, about future of Bitcoin and all this, like whether it's going to be a scam. It's just like explaining this for normies, right? And I found that it's very, very difficult, man, because crypto, there's so many different complex lingos, right, that don't exist in real life. So I had to find different analogies to explain like all these different complex concepts. And at the time, I suck at it. It was like a chore to do it. So I sort of vent my anger and sort of told this story in my Substack. You guys can go check it out as the first one. I think it sucked, but it's a bit funny as well. I tried to make it funny. Um, to not bore our readers, right? And that got me started on this entire thing. Like after that, I didn't feel like I enjoyed writing so much, right? Because it didn't really get any traction. Like basically one or two people read it at the time, which was huge for me. It was people who were willing to read that. But then so not a lot of people. So I pivoted my focus onto Twitter. Um, Trying to read more on Twitter, writing more on it. And I started trying different things out. A lot of trial and errors, a lot of A/B testing in terms of how I should, write the post, how I should write the hook, what should be, and I didn't really have any mentors. I was just looking at, all the other influences, like how they write it, try to, copy their style a bit, and then yeah, try to make it mine, adjust it together, right? um, and after a while, like the type of posts that generate really good engagement for me earlier was trading picks. I think there was like a small bull markets, right, on Arbitrum, and like in March, I started doing more like trading picks. Market picks up, right? The overall macro at the time was better, so I try to put in like different coins by market cap, top coins in different narrative, and then like so many people
Mm-hmm.
like and retweet and uh, engage in that tweet, and those kind of tweets sort of brought up my followers count in the realms of hundreds people, right? And yeah, every day at the time I would be working in the Spartan group from 9 to around 10 p.m. or around 10 or 11 p.m. on average, and like 3 or 4 hours from 10 to like 2 a.m. I would be spending time researching and writing content. Yeah, it was like a struggle the first month and the first month and a half when I was like working there as a Spartan, especially when at the time when deals were like coming in, right, and we have to execute. Um, but yeah, that got me started, and then that got me deeper into looking into different DeFi projects, like doing deep dives, really digging into each main area that I usually analyze, right, in each project, which like in usually I would look at two things. But if the project is interesting enough, and then we have more time to analyze, right? If it's not like an urgent play, like long term fundamental, then I look at other things as well. But usually it's just mainly um, the the products of this project, whether it is a fundamentally sound product, whether there's a demand for this kind of product, right? Whether the product is unique compared to other projects in the market. And other than product, sort of sorry. Um, yeah, there are about three things, I guess, not two. There are products, and then there's tokenomics, like token utilities, token distribution, and also um, whether there's a mechanism to maintain and sort of push it to get great, good price discovery, right? Like a mechanism to curb the selling pressure. Yeah, basically tokenomics. And then the thirdly is on communities, on marketing, on the hype, on the narrative, and sort of the sentiment behind this project, which I think is really important, right? If nobody likes your project, people wouldn't take a look. We see that happen, right? From a project that I got lucky. I found it very early on DeFi. Sorry, on Dex tools as well. PSI, like Trident DAO. I found it like the first 2 hours after it launched. I got in really great price, and I got around 7x. After that, I sold at a good price also. But then, like for people who were following this, like the project's founders didn't really care about the community, right? He was just like, oh fuck you guys, I just want to build. Yeah, I don't really give a shit, man. Whatever you say about the projects, and then just not much communication, right, over the course of so many months. Um, so yeah, that's I guess that's an example of really not managing the community when they have something different or something unique in terms of the products, right? And the team is really set on executing and building it out as well, which is where I think the team is an important part. And usually it's hard to analyze teams, right? Because you, like, for retail users, you don't really get access to talking to the founders, or like seeing all these different founders, right, and how they execute. You don't get to talk to them every week, right? So yeah, that's why I don't include team in the usual analysis. But yeah, so yeah, that's about three things that I usually look at. Um, and oh shit, I just had a brain fart. What was the point that I was trying to get to? Um,
I was asking why did you decide to go solo? And how did you go down this path?
all right.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm getting to that in a bit. Yeah. So yeah, I was getting deeper into all the deep dives, right? And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it, and I enjoy it much more than I was working in the Spartan group when I was doing investment banking works. And like because I had like buy side experience, right? I really enjoyed looking at different businesses, different projects, breaking it down, and then seeing what drives it, and like testing out the thesis that I put into. And so, like starting the whole Twitter journey has sort of serves as the place for me to share my thesis on the projects that I think is bullish, and I share my thoughts why, and then sort of see it gets validated or get shit on a month or 2 months after also when I got it wrong. And yeah, there are a lot of times when I got it wrong. There was a period like of 2 3 weeks when I would be sharing like very degen pics. Not sure if any of my followers remember it, but I think this was around 2.5 or 3 months ago. That was like a really bad period, man. I was actively trading for 2 3 weeks, like new plays every day. There was like new coins out, get in, rotate out, like on Arbitrum, like so many coins, right? And I ended up losing like so much money there. And yeah, like I shared so many bad plays to my followers at the time. It was pretty sad about. So I stopped like with that kind of shit coins,
Uh-huh.
degen play. It's really not worth it. So
Was
um,
that sorry, what was that during the like meme season a few months back?
I think that was before meme season. It was a new shiny coin season on Arbitrum where there was a lot of new projects that's launching new things. And these new things, right? They look new, like it's never been on Arbitrum before, and it looks like it's gonna be like some new innovation or something. But majority of it didn't really work. Um, and oh yeah, that was a period where there was also a lot of new coins on Ethereum as well. And yeah, I would have like all these different shitcoiners groups just following aping into the coins, or yeah, different alpha groups, right? Yeah,
Right, right.
didn't really work out well. Yeah,
I mean,
so yeah,
yeah, there's like thousands of new tokens being created every hour, even on Dex Screener, right? If you take a look at all the shit coins, right? But
yeah,
I think it's really great that you actually covered what you look at when you're looking to invest in the buying into certain token, right? So you
yeah.
mentioned the three things just now, like team, community, and sorry, what's the last one?
So the main thing, right, is
Product, right?
product, whether it has product market fit, key differentiation. The number two is tokenomics, which entails token utilities, distribution, and just mechanism to keep the price in place. Um, Number three, uh, shit, marketing communities, right?
Uh-huh.
Marketing communities, that's rarely behind the hype, the narrative, and the sentiment of the projects, right? So which is why I really enjoy Alpha Scan, because I use that to search for sentiment now, looking whether other KOLs or other influencers have covered that coins. So that's also a good way of sentiment check. Um, and yeah, I guess number four, if you have an insider info, right, or if you're a KOL, you get to talk the project. Definitely,
Mm-hmm.
team is very very important. Yeah,
Right, and on that note, right, I wanted to follow up with actually wanted to ask about your investing framework, but I guess you pretty much covered it. Just want to check with you if there's any other things that you do before you click that buy button that you have not mentioned yet.
for sure, for sure. I since right now I'm in so many alpha groups and so
Mm-hmm.
many DAOs. I would have to. I think this is part of the sentiment check, also seeing like what people think about the coins. I think this is really important, right? Because sometimes you either don't have the capacity or capabilities to like really look deep into this project. Sometimes like it's not your area of expertise, right? It could be like for me it's AI. Like I don't know a lot about AI. So whenever there's a new AI coins that people are really investing in, I would be like looking at other people opinions and see whether it makes sense. So I look at different DAOs, look at crypto Twitter, look at sometimes I go through Medium as well. Go to Medium and then like search for articles, right? Long form articles to see whether it gets broken down. So yeah, that's what I do a lot. Um, I don't form my own thesis based on pure raw information. Um, a lot of times I would just be looking at other people's opinions and form my own thesis from there as well. Uh, so yeah, it just depends on the key area that I'm good at, and I suggest like if you're listening to this, right, if you're new, I would suggest like really taking time to read and understand other people's like thesis or views behind each token, and then form your view after that, whether this guy makes sense. And don't just trust blindly, right? You have to verify it as well. Read it and then go check it out, whether that's true, whether it's really like that, whether it's a fud, whether it's like actual fact. So yeah, that's what I do a lot. And also like there are little things, right, that you do. You check for the best route, like how to execute the trade. I usually use the Llama Dex like
Oh yeah,
aggregator these
that's the
days.
best.
Yeah, I think they're the best, right? They aggregate, like they tell you which one is the best at the swaps. But sometimes like all these aggregators don't get included as well. So you have to check, and then you also have to check from CoinGecko or Dex tools whether it's the best route. Usually it is, and like very smooth experience, right? And So yeah, I guess that's basically it in terms of the parameters. But I put more emphasis on sort of the first step, right? Which is like when I look at the projects, whether um, it fits the narrative, whether like and especially how to size when you know the when it fits when I really want to get into the coin, how to size, how to DCA, and how to take profits, especially in this kind of market. You can't just like blindlessly ape and then just wish for the best, right? You have to know like when to get out, when to get in, and when to get out. This is extreme. I think this is probably the most important. Like shitty coins, right? It could pump, but if you don't get out, you just yeah, it would be shitty, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, not just shitty coin, like any other coins, right? If you get in and it pump, but you don't take profits, then you that coin just stuck there. You don't like you can't do anything with it. So the rule of thumb for me right now is um, for fundamentally sound projects, right, that I believe in medium to long term, I would be taking like 25% of the position chunk of profits whenever there's about 30% or 50% pumps, um, and try to leave between 50%, 25 to 50% of the stack left for it to run into the next bull market. So that's my target for fundamentally sound projects that I really believe in. If it's a shit coins, then I would take different approach because the pumps would be faster and higher, right? I would be taking aggressive profits, uh, like initially like 50% of the profits taken after 2x, and then when it's 3x, right, I take another um, 25%, and then like wait a bit, potential 4x, or if it retrace, look at it, right? If there's a chance for it to pump or not pump, and then just exit based on that. So yeah, I think that's the overview high level of the way I think. But you know, in reality, there's a lot like different smaller things, other factors that goes into it as well.
Right, awesome. And on that note, I want to ask you the next question because you cover so many projects, right? All the chains as well. What is the DeFi sector that you are most bullish on right now and why? I mean, could it be
Right.
more than one if you have? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably biased on this, and this probably just me alone, because I've never seen anybody who who's a firm believer in this as me. So
Stay tuned to find out Jeff's answer and other topics that we discussed in part 2 of this episode. That brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Before you go, do remember to give us a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button so you never miss a thing. Comment down below what you liked about this episode, who you would like me to interview next, or any topics that you want to learn more about. Until next time, this is Moose moving out.